Hello everyone. Have you ever wondered about the amazing and strange things that exist in the vastness of space? We have only just begun to explore the universe, and there are countless mind-boggling facts that show how much we still don't know. Here are 10 crazy facts about space that you may not have heard of before. 1. There is a planet that is supposedly made of diamonds. Exoplanet 55 Cancri E, located 40 light-years away, may be covered in diamonds. It sounds beautiful, but you probably don't want to visit it unless you enjoy sunbathing at 2,400 degrees Celsius and breathing cyanide. Scientists have suggested that 55 Cancri E was formed from a star with a high carbon-to-oxygen ratio, making it rich in carbon. Diamonds are a solid form of carbon. Its rotational speed is so high that 1 year on the planet is equivalent to 18 Earth hours. Additionally, scientists have recently discovered that one side of Janssen is in a molten state and consists of carbon lava. The research team believes that diamonds may account for at least a third of the planet's mass, approximately 3 times the mass of Earth. Further investigations are necessary to confirm this theory. If confirmed, it would suggest that 55 Cancri E contains approximately 26.9 million diamonds. 2. A man is buried on the moon. Eugene Shoemaker, one of the discoverers of the famous comet Shoemaker-Levy 9, was a pioneer of astrogeology and was expected to be the first geologist to set foot on the moon. Unfortunately, his health prevented him from reaching the moon in his lifetime. Instead, he trained Neil Armstrong and other astronauts for the Apollo missions. In 1997, in search of unknown impact craters, he traveled to Australia, where he died in a car accident. In recognition of his contributions to science, NASA returned his ashes to the moon aboard the Lunar Prospector spacecraft. To date, Eugene Shoemaker remains the only person buried on the moon. 3. Saturn has a hexagonal storm. A multi-layered storm with an unusual hexagonal shape rages at Saturn's North Pole. It was first discovered in 1981 by NASA's Voyager spacecraft. Later, in 2006, the Cassini spacecraft provided more detailed images and data. It was revealed that the storm is about 300 kilometers high, 29,000 kilometers wide, and may be composed of atmospheric gases moving at about 320 kilometers per hour. The sides of the hexagon are about 14,500 kilometers long, which is 2,000 kilometers longer than the diameter of Earth. It also changes color depending on the season on Saturn. It turns gold in the summer and blue in the winter. 4. Neptune has only orbited the Sun once since its discovery. Neptune is the most distant planet in the solar system. It was discovered in 1846. It was the first planet discovered mathematically. Astronomers noticed that Uranus deviated from its calculated orbit, which led them to hypothesize the existence of another planet and then to find it. Neptune is so distant that it can only be seen with optical instruments. Because it is farthest from the Sun, it also has the longest orbital period. A year on Neptune lasts 164.8 Earth years. This is why it has only orbited the Sun once since its discovery, in 2011. 5. A wedding ring was once lost in space and found. On the second day of the Apollo 16 lunar mission, Command Module pilot Ken Mattingly discovered he had lost his wedding ring. The crew searched throughout the ship. On the 9th day, it was finally spotted floating out of the hatch while Mattingly was spacewalking. Another astronaut, Charles Duke Jr., spotted the ring and tried to grab it, but to no avail. Luckily, it bounced off Mattingly's helmet and Duke caught it. Just imagine, a small ring almost lost in the depths of the vastness of space. However, people have already left a lot of things in space, even a toothbrush is floating somewhere out there. 6. Spacecraft have reached all the planets in the solar system. Humanity has been exploring space for over 60 years, which isn't that long in cosmic terms. During this time, spacecraft have reached all the planets in the solar system, including the dwarf planets. Spacecraft have landed on Mars and Venus and entered orbit around Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, and Ceres. NASA's Voyager 2 flew past Uranus and Neptune, and the New Horizons probe approached Pluto. In addition to important scientific data, spacecraft have provided us with numerous photographs of other planets and their moons. 7. There are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way. You've probably heard that there are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on Earth. This seems entirely plausible, given the vastness of space. So, it's hard to believe that space could be inferior to Earth in any way. Oddly enough, it is, at least if you consider only our Milky Way galaxy, not the entire universe. The advantage is obvious. According to rough estimates, the Milky Way contains between 100 to 400 billion stars, while our planet has over 3 trillion trees. 8. Winds on Venus blow at speeds of 500 kilometers per hour. Venus is similar to Earth in composition and size, but differs greatly in appearance and surface conditions. The planet's atmosphere consists of extremely hot carbon dioxide and sulfuric acid vapor and has a very high density. Data from the SPICAV spectrometer on the Venus Express orbital station showed that the ozone concentration in the Venusian mesosphere at an altitude of 85 to 100 kilometers is 10,000 times lower than in Earth's atmosphere. The sulfur dioxide content also varies significantly over the course of several days. By using stellar scanning, where the spectrometer monitored stars as they rose and set behind the planet's horizon, scientists were able to determine the concentration of the primary gas in the Venusian atmosphere. This ozone distribution indicates that the gas interacts with chemical compounds transported by winds from the day side to the night side. And because Venus's atmosphere rotates 60 times faster than the planet's surface, wind speeds here can reach up to 500 kilometers per hour. 9. Fragments of the Tunguska meteorite remain missing. The most mysterious space alien of the 20th century is the Tunguska meteorite. It fell near the Siberian Tunguska River on the morning of June 30, 1908. That day, a bright glow illuminated the sky, and the ensuing airburst destroyed a huge tract of forest and blew out windows in houses within a 200-kilometer radius. However, no fragments of the meteorite, no evidence of weapons of mass destruction, or debris from an alien spacecraft have ever been found. According to NASA calculations, the meteorite was 75 meters in diameter, and the force of the explosion was comparable to the power of a thermonuclear bomb. Incidentally, after the Chelyabinsk meteorite fall, scientists found over 100 fragments. The largest of them weighs almost 700 kilograms. 10. The Moon is leaving Earth's orbit. The Moon is gradually moving away from our planet. However, this is happening at a very slow rate, 38 millimeters per year. Researchers from the University of Wisconsin-Madison and Columbia University have calculated that 1.5 billion years ago, Earth's day lasted approximately 18 hours. At that time, the Moon was 44,000 kilometers closer to Earth than it is today. According to astrophysicists, this increased distance affected the planet's rotation on its axis, and therefore, its climate and day length. In a few billion years, the Moon's orbit will approximately double, and its day will stretch to 870 hours. However, over time, the Moon and Earth will stop drifting apart, and the satellite will begin moving toward Earth again, experts predict. Space is full of wonders that continue to capture our imagination. Some of them are the result of our own discoveries and achievements, demonstrating how far humanity can go in its quest to understand the world. Until next time.